Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Today's discussion is about one of the most important questions students and families ask. Is studying in the United States worth the investment? With a question mark? Of course, I would say yes. But tonight we are going beyond rankings, tuition costs, and brochures. We're exploring the real value of US education, which is career outcomes, professional opportunities, professional growth, and long-term return of investment or ROI. Now, before we get started, let me briefly introduce myself. My name is Crystal Valenzuela. I am the Business Development Manager for the Philippines at InUni Global. For more than a decade, I've had the privilege of helping students and, of course, partner institutions and different partners to connect with life-changing international education opportunities. Okay, so I think do we have the slide out there? Oh, all right. So now I think we're all set. Well, we are so honored and ecstatic to have three amazing speakers with us today. First, we have Mr. Marty Bennett, the Director of International Recruitment and Engagement. He is an award-winning international educator with a career spanning over 30 decades. Sorry, 30 years, yeah. 30 decades, oh my goodness. Sorry about that. And he has directed international admission efforts at 8 different US and UK institutions, impressive, and traveled to recruit prospective students and their parents in 81 countries. Hi, Sir Marty.
Hello.
How are you?
That's very good, thanks. I'm
Awesome.
not
Sorry
that
about
old.
that.
30 decades, my goodness.
Benjamin Button. All right, next is we have Mr. Michael Kulik, and he is the Senior Associate Director of Career Services at the University of Akron. He brings extensive experience in driving student engagement through internships, very important, and networking while building strong employer partnerships and that support career success. His work connects students with meaningful opportunities and workforce needs. Well, hello. Hi, Sir Michael.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Wonderful. And finally, we have Miss Nicola Kiley, and she's the Executive Director of the Center for International Students and Scholars. Her role is to support international students from orientation through graduation. Ooh, speaking of A to Z, and continue assisting them as alumni of the University of Akron. Hello. Hi, Miss Nicole.
Hello, everybody. Lovely to see everybody. Well, meet everybody, sort of, online.
Alrighty, thank you. And just some few quick housekeeping notes. We highly encourage you to ask questions throughout the webinar. Please use the Q&A box. I think you can see it there. Just look at the panel, navigate through, and you will see that in the webinar interface. Please submit them at any time, okay? Our speakers will do their very best to address your questions as we progress through the key topics and discussions. Alrighty. Okay, so I think we are all set. Do we have, I couldn't see the slide though. Can we see the slide, team? So I'd like to start now with the agenda. So can anyone flash the slide? Can you see it? Sorry to our speakers. You can see the slide? Oh, I
No,
couldn't see it. Oh, there.
let's see.
I thought it was my internet connectivity. Okay, so there we go. So we do have the visuals now. So what are we going to cover in today's info session? First off, we'll talk about defining ROI, what it means for the student's education and career. Has to be aligned. Career paths and roles at after University of Akron. salary outcomes, and job search timeline, leveraging U.S. work experience for long-term careers, evaluating if University of Akron is the right university for you. I'll answer yes. Live Q&A with, of course, our wonderful team at the University of Akron. So I think we're all set. Let's get started. And to start off, we'll call back in. I think he's here, Sir Marty. So let's begin by exploring the foundation of today's topic, the return of investment. We actually say hashtag ROI. To guide us through the discussion, so we think we have Mr. Marty now, and he'll be presenting about defining ROI for international students. Mr. Marty, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Christelle. This is a great pleasure to be coming to you all today and talking about one of my favorite topics that I always love engaging with students and their parents about when we talk about return on investment when it comes to a University of Akron degree. So if we can go to the next slide with the questions, please. So defining ROI can be a little bit tricky because some people, it's a very business-oriented kind of topic, and return on investment is the return you get on the money, time, and energy you invest. And that could be from a corporate level, that can be from a personal level, family level, whatever it might be. So how we define that for our international students is you and your families are going to pay, and we'll start with the money costs, but it's a lot more than that because you're making a commitment to come and study in another country for up to 4 years for a bachelor's degree, 2 years for a master's degree, longer if you're doing a PhD. And if you're taking that amount of time out of your life, plus the money that you're going to be investing and all of your talents and treasures that you have that you're bringing to this experience, there you are investing quite a bit in your future. And that's what your parents have been doing for the first 18 to 21 years of your life. They've been helping you grow as an individual, providing you the nourishment to grow, the opportunities to go to school, to have maybe a part-time job, to work. If you've already gone to a bachelor's degree program, you've had that experience in your home country. You have been preparing for this step for most of your life, whether you knew it or not. But we're so grateful that you are here and you're considering potentially going abroad. And I always say that our international students are some of the bravest people I know, because you have to be brave to want to study in another country, to separate yourself from all that you know that is comfortable, and to step outside that comfort zone and to take risks. And that is part of what allows your time and talents and treasures and your when you spend with us for a degree study to really take you to the next level. And that's you have to be brave to study abroad. And so we're very grateful that you're considering that. But when we talk about education, we're talking ROI is going to be measured in what comes after you finish. And that's going to be the salary for your first job, the career potential in your field of study, the opportunities to continue work if you choose to stay in the US, the quality of life you'll enjoy, but depending on where you live in the United States, if you stay for work. But the point is, it's not just about the costs of tuition. It's about what you earn and experience over a lifetime in terms of what that eventual ROI, return on your investment, your parents' investments, will be. And it also and when we get to Michael and Nicholas' sections after I'm done, the career preparation piece is going to be important in that, in terms of getting you ready for that first job, getting ready for life, really. And that's something that I think is a big differentiator in the United States in particular, and certainly on the University of Akron campus, because our campus is just that. It's a campus that is a community. It's a place not just where you go to study and then go home every night. It's a place where you live, learn, laugh, play, enjoy, and become the person that you're meant to be by developing not just your academic brain, but the other side of your brain that will help shape you as an individual, shape and strengthen your skills. And all of those things are part of your long-term benefit that will be dependent on how engaged you are in your time at the university. So, as we like to say, ROI is not just about the cost of a degree, it's about what you gain from the full university experience. And that is something that is different in the United States than anywhere else in the world. Next slide, please. So what is the full investment that you're making in the next 4 years for an undergraduate degree, 2 years for a master's degree, maybe a little less depending on the program, beyond tuition and fees? In terms of our value compared to a lot of private universities in the United States, our costs are very reasonable. Our total cost in terms of the cost of living and all the other pieces that go into the cost of education is about, for an undergraduate, about $40,000 per year, and about $36,000, $37,000 for a graduate student, for a master's degree student. So that's everything included, tuition and fees, room and board, which are your living expenses, health insurance, books and supplies, spending money for a full year. So those are the costs that you're going to be dealing with, of $40,000 a year. That's what we call a sticker price. That's what the cost is. If you're going to a store to buy something, that's what it might say on the tin. But the actual cost, it will be different because not everybody, very few people will pay that full amount. There are merit scholarships. There is work opportunity while you're a student that you can potentially reduce that total out-of-pocket cost by working and contributing towards your education. And that can also be in your last 2 years of an undergraduate degree or second year of a master's degree. That can be practical work experience in your field that can earn you a higher rate potentially. There is what I say the hidden value is really access to the job market in the United States through OPT, which is optional practical training, which you get after you're done with your studies, but also curricular practical training, where if your degree program, like our engineering students, have a mandatory co-op as part of their degree experience, and that's paid work experience in their field before they graduate. Up to one year of paid work experience before they finish their degree. And that can help reduce the total overall cost. And part of what you'll want to do is not only find out how much the total cost here will be, what the actual cost will be versus the sticker price, but also the comparing it to what you might have to pay if you stay home. More than likely, it's going to be a lot cheaper if you were to stay in your home country, or maybe even try other countries for higher education. You might pay a lower price, but are you getting the same overall value? And that's the part of the cost benefit discussion that you'll have with your parents when you're making these decisions. What is the overall value of studying in one country over another? The quality, the access to work after you're done with your degree, the life experiences you're going to have, the personal skills you're going to develop that you might not have developed in the same way if you stay home or go to a third country. Next slide, please. So why is the University of Akron a strong investment for you and your families? Part of what I think we really value at the University of Akron is our global and inclusive learning environment. And that means everybody is engaged in the classroom. And that's something that is also another one of the major differences in the United States as opposed to most other countries, is the type of academic classroom environment you'll have. You're going to be you're going to be expected to ask questions in class, that you're going to be expected to work in small groups on projects and work together to come up with a solution to a challenge. All of these things are part of that inclusive learning environment that we do make an important priority for how we educate. We welcome international students on our campuses because we know you want to learn about American culture and how things work in the United States. But I tell you what, our US students really need to learn about the rest of the world too. And that's why it's so valuable for you to be on our campus to contribute to our US students' understanding of what the wider world has to offer them and what's waiting for them after they graduate. We do focus quite a bit on STEM and industry-focused pathway programs. We have projects in sports in some of our academic programs. We have very strong industrial partnerships that go back well over 100 years at the University of Akron. We have the fourth oldest co-op program in the country at the University of Akron, particularly for our engineering students. Our name, actually, we are University of Akron. Every university in the U.S. has a nickname, and we're the Zips. And you won't know what a zip is. Most of us who are in the U.S., we don't know what zips are unless we've had connections with the university. But that nickname is actually a direct relationship we have with Goodyear Tire that goes back well over 100 years. That in the 1920s, when we became officially the University of Akron, we chose Zips after a product that Goodyear Tire was producing that a number of our students were helped in developing called Zips. These were rubber shoe coverings for men's dress shoes, and they had a little zipper on the side, so they were called Zips. So going back well over 100 years, we have very strong connections with industry partners. And that is important for you to know because as undergraduate students, you can be doing research in your first semester through one of our research centers or institutes that will get you those industry connections very early on in your academic career, which, as Nicola and Michael will talk about next, are the kind of building blocks that can lead to eventual success when you find that first job after graduation in the form of internships that you can have, co-ops, and project work that you could be doing in addition to research. And I'll let Nicola and Michael talk about those career services in just a minute. And yes, I see a question from Ebenezer asking about knowing about Zippy. And yes, she is a female mascot. She's one of only 9 female mascots in the U.S. in NCAA Division I sports. And there's another story about Zippy we'll save for maybe at the end for questions about how she came about. That's a whole different story, but we'll get to that perhaps at the end. We'll go to the next slide, please. And now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Nicola, who will walk us through how her office is going to be integral to students in getting through the international student success that we hope everybody is able to benefit from. Nicola.
Great. Thank you, Marty. Hi, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good night. Not sure where everybody is dialing into this from, but it's wonderful to have the opportunity to speak with you. So thank you to our colleagues in uni for organizing this. As Marty said, I'm Nicola and I work in the International Center. So I am part of the team that will help support you when you arrive at the university. It's really important, as Marty mentioned, that you maximize your time at the University of Akron. And we're here to help you be successful because it's all about maximizing your return on investment. Go to the next slide. That's okay. Thank you. Okay. So at the University of Akron, we acknowledge that international students need support before and after arrival, and that having the right support helps you, the students, make informed decisions throughout your studies, throughout your entire career with us. So our support that we offer you actually happens well before you arrive. And I believe we're a little unusual in this. We have a strong partnership with an external company of ex-visa officers. So this is a company that is staffed by people who have spent their career working at various embassies around the world, adjudicating visas and talking to different applicants, whether for student visas or immigrant visas. But they really understand the visa interview process from the consular perspective. So we provide opportunities for you, the incoming Akron students, to actually meet with some of these ex-visa officers and to learn from them what it's actually like from their perspective on the other side of the visa interview. They can help you prepare your answers. They can give you some tips and some tricks. Unfortunately, there's no magic words that they can give you to guarantee that you get a visa, but they can help you avoid some of the common mistakes that students make, and they can really help you fine-tune your answers. So we have partnered with them. We offer monthly workshops throughout the academic year for incoming students that you can go and you can listen to them and you can practice your answers with them in a low stress, low risk environment. We also have a brand new online module that we came up with. It just launched about a week ago on June 1st. So that's 9 days ago. It's brand new, and we will enroll you in this after you've booked your visa interview, after you've paid your I-901 fee. And this gives much more information that you can go through at your own time. You can, again, you can practice. It guides you through writing out your answers, practicing how to develop them, how to speak about them, how to talk at your visa interview. And the advantage of the online modules is that you can dip into them and you can visit them as many times as you like. And it doesn't matter what time zone you're in. You can access this at any time that's convenient to you. Whereas our workshops, where you meet with the officers to practice your answers, those are at set times. Because we think part of the support that we offer should be in helping you get here. Because by the time you get to the visa interview, you've already invested significant time, energy, and money just to get that far. But without the visa, nothing else happens. So again, a part of our support to you is to help you get here. We think that's important. Once you get here, we also help you adjust. I'm not going to go through all the support services that we offer. I'm just going to talk about the first one that you would encounter, which is our orientation. So orientation is mandatory. It's required for every international student who's coming in. We don't care how much you've traveled, where you've been. You need to come and you need to talk to us, hear the rules from us, and you need to have the opportunity to make connections and make friends and build your new support group. As Marty said, and I completely agree with him, in order to make the decision to come study abroad, you have to be very brave. But bravery only gets you so far. You still need support. You still need to have people around you, whether it's friends or whether it's us in the International Center, who will help you get to the finish line. So orientation is partially about making friends. It's also about learning the immigration rules, and it's also about understanding and learning about the different resources that are available to you at the university. From an immigration perspective, we recognize that the immigration rules in the United States are complicated and they're currently changing. So our role as DSOs, designated schools officials, is to make sure that you understand the rules so that you can follow them so that you can be successful. So at orientation, we'll tell you the rules so you can hear them. We'll show you the rules so you can see them up on a board, on a screen. We have presentations. We also give you a handbook, which here it is. Here's the current one. We are currently in the process of updating it. And our handbook has space in it that you can write comments as we're speaking so that you can take the rules with you when you leave. We also continue this support, this immigration support, while you're here. We have online modules on Brightspace that you can access at your leisure and dip in and out. We have ongoing workshops on key issues. We offer trainings, multiple ways you can engage with the rules and with us. You can make appointments with us. You can meet with us online or in person when we're on campus. You can even drop by our office, and sometimes if we're free, we'll talk to you then. And you can always email us. Orientation is also about other resources. It's a time where you can hear from people who work in other offices and get to meet them so that when you need their services, you'll have a friendly face in that department. A great example is that we always have some nurses come from health services. Because when you're ill, when you feel sick and you feel down and you want to go get some help, it can be kind of scary if you're walking into a new place and you don't know anyone. So what better way to take away some of that fear and offer support to you is to have you meet some nurses before you get ill. So you can meet with them and talk to them. And that way, if you need to go to health services and seek medical care, there's a friendly face waiting for you. We also have some of our colleagues from Zip Assist come in. There's that word again, Zip. You are the Zips. So Zip Assist is the office that supports all of the Zips. They're kind of a one-stop shop for that. But they really understand the nuances that come with working with international students. So we work very closely with the Zip Assist office, and we work together to support our international students. And of course, there'll be opportunity at orientation to meet some of our friends and our colleagues in student employment and career services. You'll probably get to meet Mike in person because he usually comes to that session for us. Moving to the next slide, please. Speaking a little about work experience in particular for international students, I cannot stress enough that international students must follow the F1 employment rules. Of course, that assumes that you're coming to us on an F1 visa, and 99% of our students do that. So that's really what I'm going to talk about now. If you're coming on a different kind of visa, let me know and we'll talk about it and we'll figure out what your employment rules would be. But not following the employment rules is probably the easiest way to get yourself in immigration trouble, which might result in you having to leave the country. So let's not do that. Let's follow the employment rules. International students often tell me that it's not possible to work in the United States. I want to correct that misunderstanding, but I want to make sure you're hearing what I say because I'm going to say it very carefully. International students can work in the United States, but all work must be approved. So, excuse me, unapproved work is what's going to get you sent home. Approved work is going to keep you on track for that return on your investment to graduate and go off and continue living your life and doing all the awesome things. So really, students should ask before starting any job, whether it's an internship, CPT, or OPT. Oh, sorry, I jumped over my talking point. Apologies. The 3 points, there are 3 main ways that an international student can work legally in the United States. There's a couple of other ways which are much less common, but 3 are the most common ways. The first one is to get an on-campus job. These jobs are found through student employment, my colleague Mike, who will speak later, and they're found through Handshake, which is our on-campus job board. You can assume that if you find a job, on-campus job through Handshake, that it is pre-approved. So you don't need to get more approval from our office. If you found it through student employment, it was on Handshake, and it says it's on campus, you should be good. If you have any questions, you want to just double check, just send us a quick email and we'll confirm. But on-campus job, great. You can work up to 20 hours a week while classes are in session, 29 hours over break. And you'll probably make the Ohio minimum wage or a little bit over, but you should expect that it won't make you enough money to cover your tuition and fees, but it will make enough money for you to go out with all the friends that you made at orientation. The other 2 ways that you can work legally in the United States are CPT and OPT. People often get them confused, but it's actually very simple. CPT is curricular practical training. The C stands for curriculum. And this means it is a work experience that is integral to your job. Integral to your academic career. So this could be an internship, a co-op, a clinical, whatever your department calls it. It's work experience that is required for you to graduate. It's approved through our office. You get a job, you fill in paperwork, we update your I-20, and you're good to go. OPT is a little bit more complicated. Generally speaking, as Marty mentioned, it happens after you graduate. You actually have to apply to the US government for permission to get OPT approval. And when granted, you can then work for 1 year on regular OPT and the potential for 2 more years if you're in a STEM field. But the key thing to remember is that you must follow the rules and everything must be approved and that we can help you understand the correct steps. Moving on. Thank you. This slide is also very important. It's really about planning ahead. And I would agree, Marty explained it beautifully earlier, that US work experience adds value to US education. It gives you experience with companies and fields and activities that you might not get somewhere else in the world. I think that I would like to add that no experience is going to be wasted, even those on-campus jobs. So sometimes a student will come to me and they'll be very upset. They'll say, I can only find a job in food services, but I want to be an engineer or a psychologist or I don't know, a teacher. Why can't I find a job in something that's going to take me directly to my career? And I would say no experience is ever wasted. Even working in food services shows that you have skills, shows that you can work as a team. It shows that you can be reliable and you can show up for your shift when it's expected. It shows that you're trainable and that you can, excuse me, and that you can learn new things. These are all things that you can take from working in food services on campus and apply to a future career. From an immigration perspective, planning ahead is absolutely key. If you think about it, everybody will be applying to do curricular practical training at the same time in each semester because it works through the academic year. It's on the same academic calendar because it's related to your curriculum, which means everybody is trying to get their CPT approved at the same time. We have 4 DSOs here at the University of Akron who work on immigration for you guys. And we currently have it split that 2 work with incoming students and 2 work on OPT and CPT for current students and outgoing students. So then you imagine we only have two people doing all the processing for all of the students. It's really important to make sure you plan ahead, that you get your documents in order, and that you give us time to process your paperwork correctly for you. It's no good coming to us on a Friday and saying, my boss needs me to start work on Monday, here's my paperwork. We also ask that you take advantage of the workshops and the trainings that we offer, and really understand how the processes work and how these opportunities can fit in with your goals. Also, please don't assume that your academic advisors know the immigration rules. They know how to advise you for your academic program. That's what they do. They are really good at that. But we've found that some academic advisors understand the rules and are really, really good at helping international students navigate the processes. But then some other advisors may not have many international students. They may have 600 students that they work with, and you may be their only international student. So they don't understand the rules. So you need to understand how everything works so that when your advisor says, oh, no, you don't need CPT to do this internship, you say, wait, that doesn't sound right. And you come and you talk to us. One last thing before I turn this over to Mike is I think it's also really important to plan ahead, because one thing we've noticed through doing CPT and OPT with our international students is that sometimes a student will have a CPT, a curricular opportunity, a curricular internship that goes really, really well, and the company loves them. And that CPT opportunity can become a post-graduation OPT opportunity. So planning ahead, figuring out how to be successful, maximizing your opportunities is really important to maintain that career trajectory. Mike?
All right. Well, thank you for passing that along. My name is Mike Kulik. I am from Career Services and Student Employment. I'm very excited to be here to be able to chat with you about our resources and the opportunities that we have for you coming out of our office. So if we go to the next slide, you get to see a little bit about who we are. And one of the nice things with our office is that you will have your own career advisor. So regardless of your major, you will always have a career advisor that you will be working with. And that career advisor is a subject matter expert. So we're out working with employers, bringing them to campus, understanding the current trends and what's happening in the market. And we share that with our faculty as well as you, the student. And that career advisor is going to be there every step of the way with you. So if you're a student, as you see in the second bullet, where maybe you've changed your major or you're having second thoughts about what you want to major in, we're here to help you. And there's different things that we can do to help connect you to that major that you want to pursue. Of course, we're the ones that are going to look at resumes, mock interviews, job search strategies. I think when a lot of people think of career services, they tend to think of that. Right? I need help writing a resume. How do I write that cover letter? I've never done an interview. Can you do a practice interview with me? So we will do that. And then we have some programs with our employers that I'll talk about here shortly, where we'll bring them on campus and help them, or I should say, help you connect with them. And this early preparation really helps to build that confidence and that direction. So maybe that first year when you're here on campus, you might not be looking for that internship right away, but we're still going to connect you to these employers, so you're better at introducing yourself or answering those questions in an interview maybe that you'll have when you go out for that internship your sophomore or junior year. So if we look at the next slide, what we're going to see is a little bit more about our internships and co-ops. So here at UA, at the University of Akron, we're really big on work-based learning. So that's your internships, co-ops, practicums, field experience, clinicals. We want students to have multiple opportunities or to have a lot of opportunities to get those positions before they graduate, because those may become full-time jobs. Or at the very minimum, they're going to help you network and meet with that future employer. We also have on-campus employment that comes out of our offices. And as Nicholas said, this is a wonderful opportunity. So this is really a nice opportunity for our international students. We employ international students out of our office. Again, so it's a nice opportunity to make a little money, but it's also a really nice opportunity to meet people on campus, to meet resources on campus, to get to know the campus a little bit. The other reason why I really enjoy on-campus student employment is your manager, your supervisor, they want you to do well. So we're very flexible. So if you come up and you say, hey, I've got an exam, or hey, I have a paper that's happening, I might need some time off. That's fine. Just give us that notice. And that's how pretty much all the managers are here on campus. We want to see our students succeed. Also, we serve as references. So maybe if you're looking at going on to grad school, pursuing your doctorate, you're looking for that first job, that first internship, we're going to say probably pretty nice things about you, right? We're going to be there to write that letter, that reference letter that you need, or to be answer those questions that an employer may ask about you. So we serve as that reference, that recommendation that you may need when you're looking for that first job. And then, of course, these experiential learning opportunities are a great gateway, right? Even those student employment positions. So these are things that you can put down on that resume and will help when you want to try to find that full-time opportunity when you graduate. So we really push this heavily. We want to see our students gain these experiences before they graduate. We'd like to bring our employers on campus as well too, which I'll chat a little bit more about. But this is what we want you to do. We want you to gain these experiences while you're studying here at UA. So as you'll see in the next slide, we're going to talk a little bit more about our tools here and how we're going to help connect you to our employers. So the first thing that we have is a job board called Handshake. You may have heard of this, but we've been Handshake users now going on 10 years. Well, actually 10 years this August already. So this is our job board. You'll have access to Handshake once you become a UA student. We have job postings not just in Northeast Ohio, throughout the US, throughout the globe. So there's a lot of wonderful opportunities that are available, and this is where we post our on-campus student employment positions, as Nicola mentioned, our internships, our co-ops, our full-time jobs. We want to make this available to all of our students as well as our alumni. So when our students graduate, they still have access to Handshake. So you'll always have access to Handshake free of charge, which is really nice. A lot of schools don't do that. The other nice thing about Handshake is this is a networking board. So you'll be able to see the events that we have that are happening. You'll be able to network with different employers as well as students, not just throughout UA, but throughout the US. So it's an opportunity to kind of like a LinkedIn a little bit if you're familiar with that. It's a nice place to network and to show off your skills, if you will. The other nice thing about Handshake too is that we are connected to, I think I think it's like over 100,000 employers now that we're connected with. And so if we have employers that might be out, let's say somewhere in California or Texas, we'll have virtual sessions. So you can hop on a virtual workshop, you can meet with an employer through that way as well. Of course, we're going to have our traditional career fairs, which are huge, and we have them for very specific majors. We have them for all campus career fairs. We'll have career fairs for student employment jobs, you name it. We have a lot of opportunities for our students to attend these fairs, which will have several throughout the year, throughout the semester. I think the big ones usually take place at the beginning of October and then in February. And these are a great way to meet employers face to face. And you can go to these events as early as your first year here on campus. And we highly recommend that. Even if you're maybe not quite ready to begin that full-time search or to begin that internship co-op search, we still recommend it because it's just a nice way to test it out, to kind of see what these things are like. And we're there every step of the way. So it's something that we will prepare you for. We'll get you caught up to speed on. And then we have smaller workshops throughout the year. You'll see us in your classroom. So we'll come to you. We're there pretty much every step of the way. And one of my favorite events is our etiquette lunch. So we will tell you how to interview over a meal. Where to put the napkin, how to cut the tomato so you don't squirt it in someone's face, right? So it's a real fun event. that we have with our students, and it's just another way to help prepare you for that world of work. And then, of course, a strong job search requires preparation. And as I've mentioned, we're here every step of the way. And one of the unique things about us is you will have your own career advisor from the time that you step foot here on campus that will help you with, hey, I want to find an on-campus job, all the way through that full-time job search. So we are here every step of the way for you. And then I will pass this along.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Marty, Nicole, and Michael. Wow, I actually took some lots of notes here, plenty of key takeaway. If I may, before we start this, so Sir Martin mentioned about I think I have a new mantra right now: live, learn, laugh, and enjoy. We have to really practice it by heart, and of course, Nicole mentioned about some debunking some misconceptions about can't work. Well, you can, but it has to be approved. And of course, Sir Michael mentioned about different tools. This is very fascinating. Really makes University of Akron stand out. And through, of course, variety of opportunities, current and alumni can also connect and find out these opportunities. Wow. And I like that etiquette lunch. I hope I get to experience that. Alrighty, so thank you once again. So we've heard excellent perspectives on student success, career readiness, and long-term outcomes. And now it's time for the most important part, one of the most important part rather, which is the discussion with some of the questions raised. And first off, I think this is, let's read this. So when international students and families ask whether a US degree is worth it, how should they think about ROI beyond tuition and scholarships? We do have our panel right now, and this is for Sir Marty. Give it a go.
Thank you. I didn't know I had been elevated to royalty with the Sir Martin. I know Sir Michael is also
Sorry.
having the same conversation. So thank you for being very polite, Christelle. This is a question that, yes, it is at the core of what most families of students that are looking to come from abroad to study here, most families are want to know how do I define whether it's worth it or not? A lot of times it becomes a very simple dollars and cents equation for families. Particularly if they're very business oriented, they might just see just how much am I paying versus what is my son or daughter going to have for their first job? What's the salary going to be? And how long will it take them to repay me for what I'm doing for them in paying for their tuition and their expenses? This is a conversation that I have a lot. And what I alluded to it a little bit when we were talking about the sticker price versus what they'll actually pay in terms of out-of-pocket expenses. That's a conversation we can certainly talk about a little bit later too. But to boil it down to the essentials here, it is a relative thing because to one family, they maybe have been saving all their lives for their son or daughter to go abroad. They've always had it, the parents have always had it in their mind that they want their son or daughter to study overseas. And maybe the US has always been their dream. Maybe it's some other countries as well now. We know we're not the only option. And that's something that we as in US schools need to take seriously. We have to show our worth really to our future students a lot more clearly. So the black and white numbers that we can provide as average salaries for graduates from our College of Engineering and Polymer Science, that they average about $72,000. That's their starting salary for a bachelor's degree student in the last year or so. That's a hard number we can put out there. Is it going to be what every graduate will get? No, because if some go to other parts of the US, not Ohio, where cost of living is much lower, 30% lower than if they were going to California, if they could get a salary out there that might be $100,000 to start, but the cost of living is also going to be quite a bit higher too. So what is it? What is worth it? Families that have been saving all their lives to send their son or daughters to study overseas, they may be pulling resources from multiple family members, multiple generations of the family might be helping to contribute to that. So for them, they have everything involved in that decision to send and fund their son or daughter to study abroad. So it better be worth it for them, because that risk for them is everything. But in terms of beyond ROI and beyond the just tuition and numbers, I think it's also important to understand the value add of a U.S. college experience that most of the rest of the world doesn't provide. And I alluded to that earlier when I talked about the campus experience. I always tell students, I've been working in the field for not 30 decades, but 33 years. And in that time, I started working in the domestic office for admissions at the alma mater where I studied. And our point of reference when we talk to families about careers and everything after they graduate, that they're going to change jobs, not just jobs, but change careers in their life 4, 5, 6, 7 times. And that's not just going from one job to the next, potentially changing careers from the health fields to education to business to starting your own firm. So that amount of volatility potentially in your lifetime for working, you need skills beyond just what you learn in the classroom for a particular academic major that helps get you ready for the first job. We have had employers tell us for years that we just don't want engineers. We want engineers who know how to give a speech, to talk, to effectively argue a case, to write well, not just be data geeks that can build something. So there's skills that students need to develop outside of what they need for their academic program that you really get out of most U.S. colleges, depending on how well a student takes advantages of the opportunities available to them. I tell students all the time, if all you do is come to us and get a perfect 4.0 grade point average, but you didn't get involved in any student clubs or organizations, you didn't participate in any events on campus sponsored by student government or the university, you didn't take advantage of fall or spring festival, or if there's a cultural event that your student club puts on during the year, if you're not part of that and sharing your culture with students on campus, if you don't do an internship, if you don't take advantage of working and developing some soft skills, as Nicola mentioned, learning how to manage your time effectively. These are all things that you need to know how to do in life, not just to be a student. It's something that if you're living on your own for the first time as an undergraduate, and you've not had to do your own laundry and not had to cook your own meals sometimes if you're not living in the residence halls, that's going to be something you need to do. And those skills are things that we can help with. I'm not going to tell you how not to get pink clothes in your colored laundry, but this is something that students need, these life skills, and that's something that I think is oftentimes more valuable than what you learn in terms of how to do a particular job, because that's only a very small part of why you go to a university in the US, at least. And from my experience talking with students who don't know that that's a thing, that having these experiences outside the classroom is as much, if not more important than what you learn in the classroom in terms of who you're going to end up being. And that's something that in most countries, colleges and universities are classrooms that are buildings you go to take classes, then you come home every day. You don't really have any other connection to the institution beyond, this is where I got my degree. But in the US, that degree is even the smaller part. It's the experiences outside the classroom and on the campus and with your colleagues and classmates from around the world. That's what really defines it as being worth it for me, because it does make you a more well-rounded person, but someone who's better prepared, I think, for the world that they're going to be facing when they graduate, because they've had these experiences and they've developed these soft skills beyond just knowledge of how to do a particular job or skill. Long answer, but hopefully that makes sense to you.
Awesome. Yes, very much. It reminds me of T skills, vertical and horizontal. You've got life skills and, of course, academic, soft skills. Perfect. And that's automatically, when I think about University of Akron, T skills. Thank you for that. Really wonderful. And now let's proceed to the next question. How to stay informed about F1 Of course, this is the student visa. F1 rules, work authorization, and student responsibilities protect a student's long-term ROI. Let's go back in, Miss Nicola.
Thank you. This is such a great question. And I actually have a short and simple answer to this question. There you go, Marty. A short and simple answer. So when we become DSOs, designated school officials, and we get approved by the Department of Homeland Security here in the United States, we have to sign that says that we are going to help you follow the rules and that we're going to enforce the rules. And that if we don't enforce the rules and we don't help you, that we might go to jail. So I haven't met you yet, and I'm sure you're lovely people, but I'm not going to go to jail for you. So making sure that you stay informed about the F1 rules, about work, and about student responsibilities protects both of us. It helps you. The rules provide the framework of what you can and you cannot do within the United States. And following those rules and asking questions to us if you're not sure about those rules helps you be successful. And helping you be successful, helping you do well in your classes, to take advantage of those internships, to engage on campus, make friends, and get involved. Those are all the things that you're going to be doing. They're going to provide the return on your investment. So following the rules, staying within this framework helps you get to the end. Okay, that was short and sweet, trying to keep it short because I know we have lots of questions sitting in the other chat. I hope I answered the question okay.
Very important topic. And thank you, really, Ms. Akala, for highlighting that. Yes, ought to follow rules. And again, that's what University of Akron is. They really facilitate, like, not just for admissions, but A to Z. Thank you. All right, next question would be, what happens to a student's career support if they decide to return to his or her home country after graduation? Sir Michael, give it a go.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good question. So one of the unique things about being a ZIP here at UA is you'll always have access to our office. You'll always have access to the career resources. So maybe it's Handshake, right? Our job board, you'll be able to access that, search for opportunities, connect with employers. That is there for you to utilize, regardless of where you are. You just want to make sure you graduate. You'll also have access to your career advisor. For example, we just had a student that I connected with. It's been 10 years, and they sent me an email and said, "Hey, can you look at my resume real quick? I got an interview coming up. I just need a couple tips." We're there for them. We can do virtual appointments. So keep in mind, you have the time zones and whatnot, but we're there. So if you want to set up a virtual appointment, we'll do that. So our resources are always going to be there. If you decide to go back to your home country after graduation, you'll have these resources for life. And I think that's one of the things that makes us here at UA very unique.
Wow, resources for life. And this is not just decades, for life. Thank you so much, Sir Michael. Not 30 decades, but 100 years, yeah, zips. Just want to correlate that. Okay, well, thank you again to our panel. And we are now going to proceed to the last section of this session. Wow, we do have plenty of questions, and this really validates how interesting the topics covered by our amazing panel. And so we are going to answer few of the questions since we are pretty much pressed for time. But rest assured, we'll be sending a follow-up email to all attendees, including all of the maybe some of the questions not being answered today. So we'll revert back to you. Okay, so I think we can answer and select few. Okay, so just gonna go random here. For the first person who asked, in all fairness, how long does it usually take before students feel that studying in US was worth the money? Wow, I like this question. Okay, maybe we can answer Marty. Can you answer the question, please? Yeah.
Great question. I think that will vary from student to student, just as most things do. The answer is it depends. That's the stock answer for any question I get asked at college fairs around the world, because they try to get a standard answer, and unfortunately, there isn't one when it comes to things like this, when it's all dependent on that student's perspective and how they are approaching their experiences. But in terms of the how long does it take? I think for some, if it all depends on what their expectations were coming in. I mean, if they were coming into us knowing that, hey, I'm going to have opportunities across the board, outside the classroom, in the community, to get to know and understand well beyond the academic discipline I might be studying, I think they're going to understand pretty quickly that it's going to be worth it. Some the parents probably won't see that right away, but they'll certainly see changes to their son or daughter as they're going through their academic life and social life at the university. They'll see the changes, hopefully, as the more their son or daughter gets involved, the greater their perspective will change, hopefully for the best, in terms of providing that global experience that they wanted them to have in the first place. But for some people, it might not be until they get that first job after graduation. And hopefully that's not what makes or breaks it, because depending on what their longer term goals are, career paths are, it might be a very different answer to that question. But some students get it right away, or to get it before they leave. Others, it takes some time until they're comfortable with their daily routines and fitting in a little bit better, making friend groups and seeing results before they see the real value. But great question, though.
Right, yeah. Quite unique question. And I think lots of students in some of the partner agencies can really relate to this. Okay, now next one is what can I tell my parents if they're worried about cost, whether it's worth it? So anyone, Miss Nicola, perhaps?
Sorry, I was reading the other questions, trying to answer some of the other questions that I didn't think we were going to get time for.
All right.
What was the question? Sorry.
Okay. It's about like the I think the person who asked this, they're concerned about, telling their parents about the costing. So how can they manage, this type of situation?
Well,
Yeah,
I think
giving them the whole
it
picture.
goes
Yeah.
to what Marty was talking about. What are your long-term goals, and what's the best way to get to those goals? And is the University of Akron that program? I think it also comes to understanding your academic program and what you plan to get from it, how you want to use your academic degree moving forwards, and really expressing that to your family, and having these conversations very openly with them. And maybe even as Marty said, say, this understanding that this is not necessarily a career for life. This is a step along the way. Maybe it was Mike who said it, that people may change their careers, and that this is an experience that can take you many places, even if it's not necessarily matched to the academics in the program. Sorry, I was concentrating. I wanted to answer the snow question. Can I answer the snow question?
Yeah,
How
Yes,
intense
yes.
is the winter in
Yeah.
Akron?
Go ahead.
I was getting ready to type that. I love this question so much. So yes, we have winter in Akron. And what I usually tell students is that everybody should experience an Akron winter at least once, because once you've done that, you can do anything. I think it's important to know that we have snow. Sometimes we can have a lot of snow, and snow can be really fun. Snow has snowmen, snow has snowball fights, snow has snow angels, and snow is gorgeous. Winter also comes with ice, and ice is not so fun unless you like ice skating downtown in downtown Akron on the ice rink that's opened every winter. But ice is not so fun. You need to walk like a penguin to be safe when you're walking on ice. But winter can be really exciting and can be really gorgeous. The question is, how intense is the winter in Akron? And I don't want to scare anybody. I want to just prepare you. I say, go to your fridge in your house, open your fridge and stick your head in, and it's cold. But winter in Akron is colder than that. So you need to be prepared. you need to have the clothing and the mindset that gets you through that. So, we talk at orientation in in January, I'm sorry, when people come in and it's very cold, we give out winter clothing as prizes at orientation. So we give people gloves to wear, we give people hats, we give people scarves, we give people winter socks so that you're ready. So any kind of intense winter experience, which is fun to experience, needs to have the right clothing so that you can get through it safely. Okay, there you go. That's what I was going to try and type.
Awesome. Thanks for
It's a
that.
great question. I love that question.
It is. Alrighty. So please don't go to the fridge right now. Okay, do it later. Okay, so next one. Last question. Okay, before we officially end, again, we'll send email to the rest of the attendees. So address to Sir Michael. Okay, so if you can please answer the you can see the questions, but I can ask you to select if you would like. Can you see the questions?
Yes, I do see them. Okay.
Can you select
Let me
one?
let
Yeah,
me see
lots.
here.
Yeah,
Let's see within the. Okay, I'm coming to one here that talks a little bit probably more within the career world. Are some
yeah.
students absorbed by employers they did internships with? So I believe we're asking, can I get a full-time job with that internship? Yes, that happens. A lot of our employers will use that internship as a pipeline. So not only is it an opportunity for you to grow as a young professional, but it's also an opportunity for those employers to kind of test you out, kind of see like, yeah, you're a good fit. We like you. This is what we need. So internships, co-ops, and here in what you're starting to hear more of is work-based learning. That's kind of becoming a new name here, work-based learning. Yeah, these are great opportunities that become full-time opportunities. But we always tell our students, don't just settle on that. You might see some other opportunities that are out there as well that we would highly encourage you to keep pursuing. But yes, those do many times become full-time jobs.
Awesome. Thanks very much. So we've had such a fantastic session today, and we've covered some truly insightful questions and massive thank you to our incredible panel for sharing their expertise and making today's decision so engaging. And so just a quick note here, this session has been recorded and we'll be sending the link your way very soon. We invite you also to follow our social media channels to stay informed about the latest updates from University of Akron and in Uni Global. And for some final notes, okay, there are lots of key takeaway today. And I would like you to remember that the value of university education is not really measured entirely or solely by the tuition cost. It is measured by opportunities, as mentioned by our panel here, amazing panel. The skills, that these skills students develop, the students build as well, and of course, and it's the what the future that our future students unlock at University of Akron. So our students gain more than degree. Okay, you will be gaining access to industry connections, career focused learning, global opportunities, and supportive community. This is so important, right? To have a well balanced living if you go overseas. And again, so thank you for being part of today's webinar. We hope to see you to the next one. Until then, and take care and goodbye. See ya. Maraming salamat.